My name is Betty DeVault. I grew up along the Nollachucky River in a small farming community. And I will tell you about gathering greens in the fields. After in the spring of the year, and really in the fall too, after some of the crops were gone out of the fields, we would go out and gather creasy greens. And that was actually a dryland cress. And we would gather them in the early fall, and then again in the early spring. And the people used to say that in the spring they were really good after they had a frost on them because it made them sweeter. But anyway, I think that was just that they weren't allowed to go to seed. The frost kept them maybe from going to seed because when they go to seed they're bitter. But also that was dryland cress. And then watercress we would gather from the springs, from spring houses, from the creeks around the spring houses. But creasy greens were a treat. We loved them. And my mother would cook them, would cook them down, and then she would fry some bacon and stir that bacon grease in, and we would eat them with vinegar. I remember also dyeing fabrics. Of course, onion skins and walnut hulls will give you a brown color. And one time I cooked some beets, and that water, of course, that gives you pink or red. And we did something that gave more of a yellow. I guess it might have been wild mustard. Would it have been, Ed, wild mustard? But anyway, I have dyed fabrics and used them for curtains and things like that. And I would just get some, put the whatever I'm going to use as the base of the dye in water, bring it to a boil, and sometimes I would throw some salt in just because someone told me it would make the color last longer if I used some salt. And I also did this with my children when we were coloring Easter eggs. I went through a phase where I thought if they had a doll, I had to make the doll. And this same phase, I guess, I was also thinking that if we colored Easter eggs, we had to use natural dyes. And so we used onion skin, the walnuts, beet juice, and again, I can't remember what I used for yellow. And I think I just used some mints to get a light green color. When you boil some plants, you'll get like the mints, you'll get a color, and I think that's what I used for a light green. And then, of course, my daughters would decorate the eggs with crayons or paint and brushes and colored pencils or things like that.
Okay, thank you.